Well, I reckon they've been brake rotors for a bit too long, don't you? Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. A video on my boy's little 2004 Matiz. Now, I wasn't going to do a video on this because it's just a simple brake job. So I thought. Now, in Dave's wisdom, and I don't know how many manufacturers do this, they put the disc brake behind the hub. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, ultimately, you got to take the whole, I don't know, knuckle, steering joint, whatever. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. I'll probably put a thing on here. You've got to take the whole thing out, get the bearing out of the hub to get it off. And also, because you've got to take the hub off, excuse me, that's my tea repeating on me, you need a new axle nut. So, yeah, it's not as straightforward as I first thought. So let's go through it. I mean, it might be of some use to you guys. Might give you a bit of an inclining before you start of what the bits you need. We'll do that now. But yeah, well, let's just get on with it, shall we? I'm waffled on for 1 minute 20 already, so I'll shut up and we'll carry on. Just as an aside, my son has got his own little YouTube channel. He's only just started it up, and it's called Hunky Punk Hardback, and it's got underscore, so it's hunkypunk_hardback. If you're into your books or you're a bit of a bookworm, why not check him out? I'll put a link to his channel at the very end of the video on one of the things you can click on at the end anyway. You know, if you're into your books, see if you like him. I like him, he's my son. So here's the bits we've got. I got most of these bits from Eurocar Parts. So I've got a pair of discs. Obviously one of them's fitted. Make sure you clean these before you put them on because they've got storage oil on them. So that's what you need brake and clutch cleaner for. Just get a can. Oh, it's nearly out. Get a can of that. It's quite cheap. The discs, £42.34 for a pair. You look out for the specials on Eurocar Parts. You'll get special deals. That's what I always do. Pads, obviously one pair fitted. I don't know how you say this. Is it Eicher? They're brake discs. So I've got a set of pads as well. The pads were £19.79 for the set of 4. Then we've got a fitting kit which replaces these quite often old clips. £1.49 for the kit. That's padded. And then what I did have to buy, I had to buy separately, was the nut for the centre. Sorry, I should be showing you what I'm doing. Basically, it's a nut that you beat the edge in to a groove to stop it coming undone. So I bought a pair of them. They were £2.89 each from eBay. They didn't come with the same. They're not the same shape. The originals have got the large base, like a washer fitted to it, or all one piece. The new ones haven't, and they are slightly lower. So I found a washer to go underneath. It's not as big, but that'll be fine. But yeah, so watch out. If it hasn't got the flanged base to it, you'll probably have to get a washer for it. Tool wise, obviously you're going to need your jack, your axle stands. I've got a powerful impact gun, which obviously you don't need, but if you haven't got that, you'll need a 30mm socket for the center nut and a long bar. Normal tools, screwdrivers, hammers, socket set, and some spanners, and a torque wrench, which is hiding in behind there, which can do 155 foot-pound. That's for the center nut. I've also got some Loctite, and you'll need a nice chunky hammer, a lump hammer, for the bottom bore joint. So yeah, nothing special, but like I said, I got the power tools, so I use them. You don't need them. The first thing we want to undo really is the center nut. If you haven't got something like that, you'll probably have to put the nut back on knock out the centre cap, put it back on its wheel and undo it, because it's going to be tight. So looking at what we're doing underneath the wheel arch, we're going to remove the caliper carrier, and we got to remove the actual bearing holder knuckle, I can't remember. I have to remove the ABS sensor in behind there. The track rod end, that's got to come undone. What else have I got to do? Oh yeah, obviously the big nut in the middle, and these, I mean, I'll be doing these on the bench, these little ones, because I've got the big impact gun. And also there is a, can you see it underneath? Got to undo, oh, I'm on the wrong side. But that ball joint bolt underneath there. Oh, hang on. Where is it? That one. Sorry. Yes. So ultimately, got to undo all that lot. These are, you can just undo these, and normally you'd swing this out of the way just to change the pads, but it's easier to take it out. I'm going to try and hook them up out of the way, and we'll undo we won't undo, we'll just loosen off the hoses and the clips for this, just to give us more room so we don't tie ourselves up in knots, so to speak. So what I'll do, I'll set you up on the tripod, hopefully be able to see. It's a bit tight underneath here, it's only a little car, and we'll whiz off all these bits and then hopefully get the hub off. Well, that's the hub, but we'll get it apart. And if you know, I'll do it in fast speed or time lapse. If you want to slow it down, you can slow it down by clicking up and down. There's a choice of, you can see what speeds you watch it back at. But anyway, I'll set you up. I've waffled enough. Let's get this apart. I also forgot to say, we will be sticking a big screwdriver in here, pushing the caliper, compressing the piston, so there's plenty of slack on it. When you do, or before you do that, make sure that you have room in your master cylinder reservoir, or brake reservoir, whatever you want to call it, for it to go back into. Because obviously as the pads wear out, you know, the piston gets further and further out as the pads get thinner and thinner. When we're pushing it back, we're going to be pushing that piston back into the caliper. The fluid's got to go back in there. So just make sure you've got room for it. Keep an eye on it when you push it back. You don't want it overflowing. Here we go, it's all off. Here's all the parts. So quite straightforward really. I mean, I think the hardest thing was getting that split pin out. I had to break it off and drive it out with a pin punch. But here's the back of the hub, and a very, very nasty looking disc. Look at that. Crikey. Amazes brakes were working at all. But yeah, that's where we are. Let's get that up on the bench. Here we go. So you can see, obviously we've got a hub. That's our bearing rotating in there. And what we need to get out is, oh, let's take my glove off. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake you. This bit needs to come out of the bearing. So I haven't got a press that will get underneath this slot and allow me to press it out. We can't take the disc off, obviously, because it's trapped behind the hub. I'll show you all this in a minute. So basically I'm going to stick this in a vise, and I'm going to beat that out with a big copper hide mallet and a socket that fits just right. It's not perfect, but it's all I've got. There she blows! Right, so we've got our disc hub assembly off, and there's one of the bearings in there. Hopefully I won't be, hang on, let's go this way. You might have more of a chance to see it in there. That's obviously where the bearing sits, and the inner bearing is inside. One thing to note is make sure you don't lose that spacer ring. Okay, that's important. Important. Alright, let's whip this over and undo them nuts on the other side. And doesn't that disc look bad? Oh dear. Alright, let's get these out. I'll put this on something nice and clean so we don't get muck in that bearing. And luckily I've got the Big Bertha, and I can just rattle these out. Oh, space is still on, so that's the old disc. But these have had Loctite on them. So what I'll do is I'll reassemble this for now, but when we put it back on and we torque them down, I'll put Loctite on. So we'll just put these in, just gentle for now, and then do it later. So now's the time to have a good look at your grease and everything. This all looks good. I've put an extra splodge on there, and then we've got to get this back in. Now we can either beat it back in, but before we do that, I almost forgot. Make sure you clean the back of it off. Where's the cloth? Get all that stuff off. There's enough in here. There. Get all that storage grease and oil off. The front doesn't matter quite so much, because it's easy to get hold of or get to when we put it back on. But the back, yeah, more important. Anyway, back to this. You can either tap it back in, and if you're tapping it, I would say just get it started, and then use the axle to pull it back in. Or if you've got some long stud bar, pull it in with that. Which way am I pulling? I've got that to go on there. Right, I guess just chuck that through there. Perfect. that one's ready to go back in. I mean, don't worry about it spinning at the moment because the bearings aren't loaded right. So don't worry about that. Just don't over tighten it. Good time to check seals as well. And the next thing we're going to do as soon as we're on the bench is we'll replace the hardware, well not the hardware, but the little fitting kit that replaces these things. They're easy to do. You just pop them out. It says it's hard to do one-handed, but you pop them out and then you put the other ones, just slop them back in exactly the same. I'll do that in a sec. One thing to check though is make sure your pins are nice and smooth and free. If they're not lovely and smooth and free, pop the little thing off. If you just pull it hard enough, it'll pop the gaiter off, and then clean them up, grease them up, and they'll be ready to go. Right, we're back at the car. I've put the new shiny bits on there. They're whatever they're called, the things that hold the discs in. Oh, don't hold the discs, they hold the pads in. I've got our new pads here. So I'm not taking them out of the packaging because I don't want to get them covered in my horrible mitts grease. So basically next is we just got to put it all back together. I've got a new split pin as well. But yeah, just throw it back together. Right, we're all built up. Now, I hope it caught everything because my GoPro overheated, so we'll see when we start editing. Anyway, I've pumped the brakes a few times just to pump the piston out in the caliper in there. So that's all tightened that up. Everything's tightened, everything's Loctite they need to be except the hub nut. So I'm just gonna throw the wheel on. I'll take that center thing out and then we'll just do the old talkie-walkie 150 pound-foot, and then we'll have to stake that then. I'll just set you up on the tripod and we'll quickly do that. There we go, that's staked on there. Can you see that? Okay, so basically it's a soft bit of the nut. You just beat it in with a pin punch, and yeah, that's it, done. There we go, all back together. Lovely shiny discs in there. Wheels on, torqued up to 70 pounds-foot. It's not very much on these, only little studs. Same again on this side, all done and dusted. Well, there you go. I mean, there was some extra tools that I use, which I didn't mention earlier. The wind back tool, you could use a G-clamp for. Some wedges and pin punches and that, but basic stuff really. But yeah, it is doable, but I was surprised when I saw the way I had to do it. So if you see this video thinking about doing it, you'll know what to expect. You know to get the nut, maybe get some spare split pins, as well as the normal pads, discs, and the little hardware bits and bobs. Anyway, enough is said. Oh, braking procedure of the pads. On these pads, it says to Go along at 60 kilometers an hour and brake firmly to 20 kilometers an hour, and repeat that a dozen or so times just to bed the pads into the disc. Check on your pads. It should come in the box what the brake-in procedure is. Some of them are different, so check. It'll be on the instructions, so check yours. Right, I've waffled on enough, minute and a half. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming on a little Matiz journey. I hope it's all right. If it isn't, you'll find out in a minute. Yeah, what am I going to say? Yes, if you want to, check us out on Instagram, Larks_workshop. And, well, I hope to see you soon. Take care. Cheers then. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'll put the all the torque figures that I know, I've got them down on the sheet, in the comments section below. In their oh no, what's the word? His own YouTube channel. Hunkypunk_hardback. Hardback. I can't talk. _hardpack. Hardpack. Blue. You gotta remove the disc. Nope. That's a caliper, not a disc. Thank you for joining me on a Matiz journey. Do you know what? I think I might even start this again. What a load of rubbish. I know I'm hot, but flipping heck. That's rubbish.